YouTube, what's going on? We're back with some more of the First Descendant. We got Freyna out rocking her Venom injection bossing build. This is a great build. Again, this is a zero death run build. There is a death exploit build that I will be going over, but again, this one involves taking them out without dying and just utilizing the skill and the Venom baptism as much as possible. So go over it all in detail. It's an extremely fun build. Freyna is super fun to use. Just as a Descendant in general. All time stamped in there. If you guys are appreciating the videos, you guys are liking the content, please feel free to turn on those notifications, sub to the channel, drop a like. Alright, this is my Freyna build for taking out the Void Abyss Infernal Walker. This is again my zero death build. Absolutely crazy, insane clear time. So I'll get this kicked off with the Reactor. We've got our Toxic Mechanics Reactor, again for the Toxic Skill Power Boost Ratio and the Tech Skill Power Boost Ratio. Benefits all of our abilities, all of our skills. We want that rolled with the additional skill attack versus Colossus and the Tech Skill Power Boost Ratio on the bottom in gold. For external components, we run this with the 4-piece plague set. again, to take advantage of the tech skill power with the 2-piece set, and taking advantage of the toxic skill power 43.2%, just overall. And then on acquiring custom resource, toxic skill power 21.6% for a 10-second duration. So just huge amounts of toxic skill power increase within the plague set. As you can see, the firearm critical hit rate and firearm critical damage take a negative a negative percentage away. So when you're building your weapon, just remember not to spec into critical hit rate or critical hit damage, because you just have to make up what you're already in the hole while running the 4-piece plague set. When it comes to the cores, I like to run with my bottom processor runs with max HP and defense. Again, HP directly helps your shield, again because we're running the overwhelming shield, which nets us a certain percentage of HP will be converted to shield. We'll go over all of that in a second. So again, that helps our overall shield. And then I like to run at least 3 modules with a max shield and a defense. Again, defense is really nice for the survivability. The max shield, again, just to generate enough shield so that we're able to balance the not dying and being able to take him out without dying at all, as well as balancing the amount of power needed within modules, so that we're not consuming modules to make up the difference within the survivability that we are carrying. When it comes to the attribute roles, again, you would primarily want attribute resistance. The top one, the auxiliary power, does have a fire resistance and a max HP roll. That would be the one I'm hunting for. As you can see, I have got a module drop rate increase modifier and Kuiper drop rate increase modifier. That is, I'm not gonna lie, absolutely horrible for that particular external component. We've got MP recovery in combat. That's huge. Love that. Love that attribute with max MP. That's a great role to have. And then with our memory, again, this is a great one to have, which is shield recovery in combat. The electric resistance, again, not really beneficial to us. We could use some, again, MP, type modifier, or another type of. There's, I think the auxiliary roles with the fire resistance. Anything with shield MP recovery is obviously what we're after. On the processor, we got the equipment drop rate. Again, useless to us. We're looking for either some type of elemental or MP recovery, HP recovery, modifiers along those lines. So there's definitely gains to be had within the external component set that I have. But again, these things are irrelevant to what we're trying to do, which is spam our 4th ability, Venom Baptism, to take out the Infernal Walker as quickly as we possibly can. So again, as you can see, 3,000 shields. It's kind of it's enough, and coupled with the 60,000 defense, it's more than enough to get you through the stages without dying. Again, you got to work at it, but it can be done multiple times. Done multiple times, many times in a row. Arcade tuning. Again, with the arcade tuning, we just want to take advantage of the Colossus. That's a firearm attack on Colossus, skill attack on Colossus. But we really just want to capstone with these 2 mutant cell slots. Again, the defense neutralization. When he's at full, we're able to hit him with a toxic. His defense is reduced drastically, as well as his toxic resistance. But again, this only is beneficial when his HP is at full. So as soon as we start to click into that red bar, we don't get the advantage of that anymore. So we've got to be quick in that 15-second duration to make sure we maximize the amount of time we have that up. But what's nice with that is we can utilize the putrid zone. So when we're attacking with a ground dot, which is all of our skills, we're able to inflict some toxic resistance decreases for him. Again, the toxic resistance increase per stack, again, benefits the damage output that we're able to put on him. So it's just a matter of capstoning these 2 and making sure that you're into your Colossus attacks. And again, you kind of move your way up into the advantage affinity and the rounds per magazine, which again is huge because that benefits the 4th ability, Venom Baptism. Now when it comes to the advantage affinity multiplier, I like to run this with the the Fallen Hope. The Fallen Hope's a great weapon for Freyna just because of all the abilities. And again, we're able to utilize that advantage affinity with the Fallen Hope while fighting the Infernal Walker. So as you can see, the Infernal Walker, his weak point type is the Pierce type. Our assault rifle carries the Pierce, and again, as soon as we blast this cover off, we're able to get at his weak point. And again, even if we're off or we start to fire off onto his shoulder, again, as you can see, there's the Pierce type. And again, this all ties back into, as you can see there, the Fallen Hope, the assault rifle. It's got the Pierce ability, so we're able to take advantage of the advantage affinity. As you can see there, you've got the Pierce icon there. So again, it's not huge amounts of damage, and again, it's not like the weapon or the Fallen Hope as it itself is, you know, gonna take the Infernal Walker down. It's the Venom Baptism, the 4th ability. I just want to be clear on that. But again, wherever you can synergize and make gains within your build, because again, there is a cooldown. You know, we have to be firing our weapon, might as well be, you know, trying to get as much out of it as possible, and the Fallen Hope is exactly that. I'll just leave that up for a second. When it comes to our inversion reinforcement, I like to run this again with the shield particle reconfiguration and getting shields back, getting increased defense, helps with survivability. We want the mana back. We want, you know, because we really want a lot of cooldown within this build, so we're, you know, expending a lot of mana. We want to have this up and synergize with our fellow so that we're getting a, you know, a set percentage chance back every 45 seconds along with our fellow. I think this module is really good with this build. Again, you'll see it within the build. My cooldown is, you know, set at 28 seconds for my Venom Baptism, but because we're hitting an enemy with this skill, you'll see my cooldown is only at 11 seconds. So I'm getting my Venom Baptism back like every 10-11 seconds. It's pretty crazy. Once we're able to trigger, get this module to trigger, it's very valuable. And again, that's what we're speccing into. We really want the cooldown as much as possible, so we're able to spam our 4th ability, Venom Baptism, with the build. And as you can see with the fellow MP heal, recovers Descendant's MP every 45 seconds at a 16% of max HP. So it's a nice little bump in the MP when we're hurting and we need it. Now for the modules. Again, with a Venom injection, this is Freyna's most powerful transcendent module. As you can see, the toxic sense what happens when we're able to generate it. We're able to increase our max skill power modifier, as well as, you know, toxic resistance. That doesn't really help us too much in this battle, but again, we're gaining additional attack power on Colossus, huge shield recovery modifier per second, absolutely crazy, and as well as the purification rate. So when we're burning, we have 30% chance to just kind of negate that. And of course, we're applying corrosion, which is just you know, reduces the toxic resistance by 25%. Again, allows us to deal more damage, and then the corrosion activation rate at 45%. So that's why you kind of want your skills to be spamming them, you know, shooting off your, you know, Venom Trauma and your Putrid Venom whenever you get the chance. And again, that was last at a 3.4 second duration. Just gotta, you know, try to get spam the trigger as much as possible. That's the Venom injection. That's where we go. And again, when it comes to the max skill power modifier increase, we run this with Overwhelming Shield, so it fixes our HP at 1. This allows us to take full advantage of that skill power modifier. Without the Overwhelming Shield, you do not gain the full 66%. So just keep that in mind when you do the build. I've gone over it in another Venom injection build, my mobbing build, in full detail. Full explanation on that if you're interested in it. Yep, so when we start off with the trigger mod, when attacking with continuous damage type skills, inflicts arcane infection, so it allows, you know, skill power damage to the continuous damage skill. And then with our unique weapon, we're able to further increase that infection damage by another 475%. You want this in double gold. I don't currently have one. That's with, you know, shooting. Again, there's actually gains to be made in this build. which is absolutely nutty because it absolutely destroys the Infernal Walker. Got over the Venom injection, mid-air maneuvering, that's pretty self-explanatory, just additional mods. Use whatever one you want, just get whatever. I think this one's the best one, to be honest. Now we got some synergies. I really like this mod, the Infection Amplifier. So this runs in synergy with the trigger module Infected Weapon, and then as it reads, when inflicting infected weapon, Arche infection on a target grants Infection Amplifier to self. The Infection Amplifier grants a 30% chance to deal 250% of skill power as additional damage on skill hit against a target inflicted with the Arche infection. So this is absolutely insane. The trigger rate is, at 30% is not fantastic, but the sheer amount of skill power damage that you're applying to it is wild. So very nice synergies have been here. Great for bossing to take your damage to a whole other level. I've gone over the overwhelming shield. We want that at 1%. And again, as you can see, increasing your max shield by 26% of HP. So the more HP you have in there, the more shields you're going to generate. For the Ancestor module, so this is where I feel like we could definitely get gains. The rolls are tough. You gotta roll with what you have. So having double tech skill power boost is huge. That obviously, increases our power through the roof. Kind of want those in double purple, and I would like to have a cooldown in purple. The cooldown is what we're after. If I can get a cooldown in purple and gold, this will further reduce this from 28 down to, I'm sure it'll drop it in at around 20 seconds, and then with the Inversion reinforcement node, I mean, we're talking, I'm not too sure, like almost close to like below 10 seconds, something like that. That would be absolutely insane to be getting your fourth ability back in less than 10 seconds for Freyna. But those are the gains that we can have. So if you got double text, that's great. Obviously we want these in the highest color we can possibly get. I'm again hunting for a cooldown. If I got a cooldown with 2 double text, I'd be absolutely ecstatic. A purple cooldown with 2 purple tech modifiers would be great. I would even take a gold tech cost. I mean, I could be asking for a lot when it comes out of this, but this is still a great roll on it. Just from the the sheer double tech skill power modifiers and the tech skill power boost ratio that we're rocking within this Ancestor module. And now again, as I was saying, everything is related to cooldown. So we've got our 4 cooldown modules here. So MP conversion, a huge 36.5, nimble fingers at 25, and then we've got our focus on toxic, that grants us a 6.1 for each one of the focus on tech, focus on toxic, as well as getting the additional damage out of our tech and toxic. So those are the 4 modules that we have that we can get as much as we can out of the cooldown, and then we rely on other things to help us bring it down that much further. Like again, in our Ancestor module, that's where it really all comes together. Spear and shield, this is where you see the defense uptick. I like the defense just so our shields hold up a little bit longer, and again it diversifies the power, our power with just a raw skill power, as opposed to we're already heavy on tech and toxic. So this is why I prefer this over the Venom Synthium. The Venom Synthium gives you a 12% toxic skill power, but we're already heavy into toxic. Again, to diversify the power pool and just have raw skill power, I feel makes this the better module. But again, Venom Synthium is another option if you wanted to run this as well. Again, toxic skill power at 10%, but we've got the skill power at 8%. Again, we're very heavy into toxic, but this is another option if you wanted to swap it out and see which one netted you the better gains. I really like the Spear and Shield personally because of the defense and the power that it brings to the table. And of course, we finish it off with our tech and our toxic amplification for just a massive skill power bump for both of those. So again, when it comes to the weapon, I run this with the Fallen Hope. I do have another run where I do the Malevolent. The Malevolent clear time was just a little bit longer. I just wanted to see which one was going to clear the Infernal Walker quick. Again, it's not about the weapon. It's about getting your 4th ability back as quick as possible. So I believe the Fallen Hope is the better weapon, so I will just quickly show the Malevolent. These are its cores. That's what I run with its attributes. These are the modules that I have. Again, everything that you do with Freyna has to be with fire rate and magazine size. Those directly impact her fourth ability. So we've got our 2 rounds per magazine, our fire rate, and our sharp precision shot. Everything else is nice, but again, it's not going to help your fourth ability, Venom Baptism with Freyna. So there's my Malevolent build, and again, with the Malevolent, you just get the bladed cogs when you hit the weak point. It's kind of nice when I'm using this one. Again, it's when I'm hitting weak points, at least those blades are coming out, killing all the ads around me. So I do, find a benefit with that. And again, we're getting additional firearm. We're hitting weak points, more of those bladed cogs. So it's a good weapon to run with it. And again, got a pretty insane clear time running it with this weapon, but not as good as a clear time running it with the Fallen Hope, just because its abilities or its passive abilities with the weapon increase just your toxic in general. So when you're firing away with your putrid venom and your venom trauma, you're actually getting a little bit more out of it than you would when you're running it with the Malevolent, because it's got no its passive abilities, as you saw, were more bladed cogs, just a little bump on the the firearm attack, as opposed to with the Fallen Hope. I'm not going to go over it, but you just shoot a toxic, just get a toxic skill going, then all of a sudden, it's not so much a firearm attack, but as you can see, the toxic skill power modifier on the toxic discharge is huge. And then again, poison stacks and the stuff that we're able to deal when we do fire that weapon, while we're waiting for our Venom Baptism to cool down, we're just spreading that toxic and the duration of it at a higher percentage rate, at a more damage while running it with the Fallen Hope, because of those passive abilities that we're able to trigger just by using a toxic skill. So again, I'll show the cores that you see there. Those are the rolls on the bottom. This is the build. Again, it's the same thing: fire rate, magazine size. That's all that matters. So that's what we really want with it. You get nothing to deal with a critical hit rate or critical hit damage. We're able to take advantage of the charge amplification, the rifle and the action and reaction. So just a lot of firearm attack. This is a poison weapon that I like to run with. And then the overwhelming shield. Again, I showed the advantage affinity. We're able to take advantage of the advantage affinity with the Fallen Hope because it has the pierce ability. The weak points, again, only when we're firing the Fallen Hope. It does not benefit the Venom Baptism, but sharp precision shot, fire rate, magazine size do. So that's the build as a whole. Again, this is a 0 death run. I will be going over a death exploit build, which is also crazy, and obviously it shot me up the leaderboard pretty quick on the clear time. So love this build. I hope you enjoy it. GG's.